So this is my design matrix, and I'm just going to quickly go through each image from left to right, starting with the poolside chairs. For those, I gave a comfortability of 7. It's not a 10 because it is something that you sit on after coming out of the pool, and I feel like it's not entirely comfortable because you're wet, and it's just not a good feeling. For cost, I put a 7 because it is a full set. You can't see it in the picture, but there is another chair on the right side. So that is 4 pieces of furniture in total. For environmental impact, all of the images have the same environmental impact, I imagine, very neutral. For safety, I put a 7. The only reason I didn't put it as a 10 is because it is a public area. For sustainability, I put 5. It's just neutral. I don't think there's anything special about it. For social impact and function, I put at 9. I think they're very good at what they do. All the chairs face each other. It's a good place to have a conversation. I think it's a good way to dry off too after coming out of the pool. And for aesthetics, I put 8 because they all match each other. For the porch bench, I put a 2 for comfortability because it's very rigid. It's not comfortable. There's no padding. For cost, I put a 3. This is outside of my porch. I think we bought this at a garage sale. It was very cheap. And its environmental impact, again, it's neutral. Safety, I put at an 8 because it's just outside of my house. There's nothing really dangerous about it. And then for sustainability, I put 8 because it is all wood. Social impact, I put at a 2 because this isn't really something that you would use to sit down or unwind on. Mostly we just use it for pictures or just laying pillows on top of it to look nice. So for function, I also put a 3 because it's not really used anymore. And for aesthetics, I put a 5 because it is dirty. For the park bench, I put a 2 for comfortability. It is very hot outside, so the bench itself is really hot. The cost I put at a 4 because it's the only bench there and it does look pretty cheap. For environmental impact, I put 4. Safety, I put at a 6 because it is right next to the freeway and there's just not much around there. For sustainability, I put at an 8. Its social impact, I put at a 4 because it's just not something that I see being used often. It's the only park bench for about a mile, and there's not really much to do in the area. For a function, I put 6. I think it just gets its job done. And for the aesthetics, I put 4 because it is a very loud color and it's not really anything that stands out. For the restaurant chairs, um, I put a comfortability at 4 because there is no back support. For the cost, I put 8 because I imagine it would be very expensive to install these since they are in the ground. And then for safety, I put at a 9 because it is inside of a building, it's a restaurant, and I imagine there's nothing dangerous about it. For its social impact, I put at a 5 because you are facing a wall and you can talk to the person next to you, but it's mostly used just for eating. So for its function, I put out an 8 because that is a good place to eat. And then for aesthetics, I put out a 7 because it looks very sleek and it matches the design of the restaurant. And for the cafe, finally, I put comfortability at a 9 because it does have back support and they just look much more comfortable than the other stuff. For cost, I put at a 7. Maybe I should have put it at an 8 because they all match each other and they all look like they're part of a set. And then for safety, I put it a 9 for the same reason for the restaurant. It's inside a building and there's nothing really dangerous about it. For its social impact, I put out a 10. All the chairs are close together, they all face each other around a table. It's a good place to talk and drink coffee, which is why the function is at 9. And then for its aesthetics, I put out a 10 because everything is very sleek, it all matches each other. It just has a nice homey feel.